So we're asked to find the product of these two parentheses. Now, what I need you to notice that these two parentheses are not identical. Do you see how one has subtraction, one has addition? That means I can't do that simple trick where we're going to double or square this and then multiply and double. Can't do that because they're not exactly the same. So if they're not exactly the same, I have to go back to foiling. So we're going to FOIL this. Here we go. So I'm multiplying the fronts. This is the easiest part. X times x is x squared. Please make sure that you're writing this down. I'll go to slower pace. Now I'm going to go to the outsides. A positive x times a negative quantity. Well, a positive times a negative is a negative, and I'm taking x times this quantity. So x times this quantity. I'll come back and worry about distributing it later. Now I'm going to work on the insides. So I'm taking a positive x times this quantity, negative quantity. Well, a positive times a negative, bless you, is a negative. And then x times this quantity looks like this. Then I'm going to do the last portion. So I have a negative quantity times a negative quantity. Well, a negative times a negative is a positive, and I write down the two quantities. In my next step, I'm going to distribute the x, distribute this x. So that's what I'm going to write down right now. I start with x squared. A negative x times 3 is a negative 3x. A negative x times the square root of 7 is a negative square root of 7x. Negative x times 3 is negative 3x. Negative x times negative square root of 7. Well, a negative times a negative is a positive. And then I have x times the square root of 7. So square root of 7x. Okay, now for this portion, they're not exactly the same. So I can't do that shortcut. I'm going to FOIL here. Multiplying the fronts, 3 times 3 is 9. Multiplying the outsides, 3 times a positive square root of 7 is a positive 3 square root of 7. Multiplying the insides, 3 times negative square root of 7, 3 times a negative square root of 7 is a negative 3 square root of 7. And a negative times a positive for the last. A negative times a positive is a negative. And if you didn't know how to work with square roots, when you have a square root or a radical with the same nth power, we go 7 times 7 is 49, and the square root of 49 is 7. So this will be negative 7. Now I'm going to combine like terms. So there's nothing else that has an x squared, so I get to bring it down. Down at the x squared. Now I'm looking for stuff that has an x in it. So there's an x, and there's another x, and this has an x, but it's a square root of 7, so I can't combine it. I just want to make sure I did that part right. Okay, so I have negative 6x. Now I'm looking for terms that would have an x with the square root of 7. So here's a negative radical 7x, and here's a positive radical 7x. What happens to those two terms? Cancel out. By the way, do you see how these two are going to cancel out as well? Do you see the positive 3 square root of 7 and the negative 3 square root of 7? They cancel out, they're opposite. And then I have 9 subtract 7 is positive 2. Okay, please write the next one down. the numbers, how does this problem differ than the last problem? Because it looks pretty similar. They're exactly the same parentheses. Okay, so with your partner, you're going to get a head start. And I need you to be working through this problem with your partner. So you're talking the entire time through it. And then I will start in about a minute, and then you can check your answers with me as you work through it. Ready? Get set and begin.
First thing we'll do
Oh. Negative times a positive is negative. X times this quantity. Inside negative times a positive is a negative. X times this quantity. Last, negative times a negative is a positive. And I'll write down the two quantities. Okay, so let's distribute. Negative 4x, negative 3 square root of 3x. I just multiply the negative x times both terms inside. Same thing here, negative 4x and negative radical 3x. Now over here, since I see the exact same thing, I'm going to use the shortcut method. 4 times 4 is 16. Radical 3 times radical 3. Well, 3 times 3 is 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. Then I multiply the inside, so positive 4, radical 3, and I double the 4. Turn it into an 8. Okay. I'm going to find like terms. That's my only x squared. So I have just x's. So I have negative 8x. And now x's that have a radical 3. So there's 2 of these. I'm guessing that's where you're going to see a mistakes made. There's negative 1, and negative 1 gives you a negative 2 square root of 3x. And 16 and 3 is 19 plus 8 radical 3. This is going to be the most common mistake.